You haven't lived until you've heard the show Americans are talking about. The show that launches its listeners to the height of humanity. The audio hour that travels the landscape of adventure. The sound that comforts more than the clip of your first bolt. It's the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show!
Where adventure summits the airwaves. This is the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show. I'm your host, Brandon Long. I'm belay with you for the next about 40 minutes. Across from me in Banyan 1 is the greatest co-host in all the land, Todd of the Top. Todders, how are you this week?
Happy holidays, sir.
Yes, we have a fitting show. We're closing it out. 2019, Merry Christmas. Get the out of here, right? That's what it is.
All right. Is that the name of it? I like that. Get that out of here.
I got a lozenger in because, it's that season too, apparently. The sickness, everybody's got something. Sickness is going around.
Cough drops really sound good when you're on the air.
They sound, it's so annoying.
It's a little clicking.
Sorry, it's a
nice little clicking noise.
Okay. Oh, boy. We're hanging out here, Banyan 1, inside the Monarch building in the middle of the Ogden City Nine Rails Arts District, in the heart of the Nine Rails Arts District. This week we have our guest who's on his way here, JT Robinson, guide for vertical integration. We had him on a couple years ago, I think. Give you some on the docket, what is going on, new on the radar, but it's a repeat from a couple, 2-3 times here in a row, years in a row.
So it's still on the radar.
Yeah, we just haven't mentioned it this year.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, we'll give you something worth listening. I haven't done that for a few. Something worth watching, worth reading, a Gear 30 segment, including, that's the gross, oh my gosh. Really sorry about that.
It's a trade-off.
Thule's ski roof box. There's Innovation Award finalists. Also in the news, Snow Report, Snowbasin uphill policy, PC Avalanche death, family deal keeps Zion National Park trail access, a van life segment wedged between two buildings. Jack Wolf is moving nearby. Wolf pups hit by a car. Pilot canyoneering permit system and the world's deadliest sport. Also, we'll give you a brand that you can maybe purchase with your bucks, with your Banyan bucks, Todders. I'll give you a brand. It's up for sale. You can make an offer. Quote of the week: Outdoor Jukebox. All of this and more on Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show episode 346. Put a bow on it. Let's charge.
He summits with the agility of a mountain goat, flashes routes faster than UPS, is more intimate in the mountains than Jake Gyllenhaal. He's Todd to the Top.
I feel like the burning question that everybody wants to know is, what is Todd to the Top asking for Christmas?
Socks.
Oh, yeah.
Practical gifts.
Practical gifts, yes.
I could use socks. Well, you know how important socks are.
Yeah.
Good socks. Yeah. Sometimes it just adds up and you're like, I need new socks.
I put a pair of
not
Fox.
Just a pair. I need socks.
A good pair of wool socks will last 10 years if you treat them right. So I have a pair of Fox River. I was putting them on the other day, and the thought went through my mind. These have got to be 10 years old. I'm fortunate. I have enough socks that I can wear one a day. Do the wash them cold, hang dry. Your wool socks, and I've got enough Darn Tough, Lorpin, Fox River, mostly Darn Tough. Brand. I have some icebreaker socks that I have a collection that I can wear one a day for a week, wash them cold, hang dry, repeat. Those socks will last 10 years. What are they, $18-20 maybe? They will last 10 years. Easy.
Yeah, and that's the exact reason why I need some new ones.
And they're comfortable and warm.
Which ones do you like? What lengths do you like of those?
Oh, the Darn Tough hikers that are
they're kind of good all year round.
Yeah. I wear them the most, for sure.
I like some shorter socks a little bit sometimes,
Oh yeah, you do. You are a short sock fan. Yeah, and they make all lengths, of course, these days. But in wool.
This time of the year, it's usually boots.
Right.
Or boot length ones. So.
Our weekly happy is that it's Christmas time, and if you ain't happy, then you
F and cheer up.
F and cheer. Let's dive into On the Docket as we wait for our guest, JT, to get here. On the Docket tomorrow is the last Cup Hop. Last one for the Nature Center at Coffee Leaks, 7:30 to 10 a.m. Is that right? What's the date today? Today the 19th? Yeah, tomorrow's the 20th. So
it is tomorrow.
Cup Hop, Coffee Links, 9:30 to 10 a.m. is the last one. Or
Are
is
you
it
working
Saturday?
tomorrow?
I'm supposed to.
Maybe we'll swing over there if
I
you're
was thinking
working,
about going snowboarding, actually.
Well, that sounds good. I'm going to see Star Wars with my sister tomorrow afternoon, right in the middle of the afternoon.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Have you read anything, or have you got any spoilers?
Mediocre reviews, you know.
Yeah.
But this is what happened. You try to please the
But
fans.
Return of the Jedi
critics,
was the least. Here's JT. JT, come on in, man. Take a seat next to Todd. Return of the Jedi was the lowest rated of the first three. You know, it closed out the series, but Empire was the highest rated, Star Wars the second highest, and Jedi was.
No, as it stands right now, it's the only one that's gotten worse reviews is the first Phantom Menace, episode 1 of those prequels.
Right.
That weren't particularly
great
for some, but I'm still looking forward to it, and it wraps up this trilogy. So.
You say this? Are we expecting another trilogy down the line at some
probably
point?
It for now, but yeah, of course. I don't know if they're gonna go trilogies or just individual little movies, but whatever they do, the Star Wars aren't done.
So, of course, I'm watching The Mandalorian, and my kids don't know this because
I'm 2 behind. I still need to see.
Are you really 5
7.
and 7 released like today, right?
Yesterday,
okay,
or something like that.
They went back to back with 6 and 7. You didn't know you were joining like a geek show podcast, right, JT? Are you down? So I'm getting caught up on, or I am caught up on Mandalorian. But I heard after Mandalorian, there's a. Original Jedi. Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Series.
That'll probably be a little ways off, maybe like late summer or something, because I think that's being filmed now. But
Okay.
Ewan McGregor, so it's that age from those prequels.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I love Ewan McGregor, so that should be great.
I'm excited, but not really. This is the least excited I've been about a Star Wars coming out, just so you know.
Yeah, I'll be excited for you.
So thanks. So you going tomorrow or Saturday? Tomorrow afternoon. All right.
I like to go to those big IMAX.
Don't tell me
screens,
about
so I'm
it.
going there.
Saturday the 21st.
Everybody dies.
Everybody
Everybody dies. The droids first, like all your favorite ones.
There's
gone.
these new things you may not know. They're called Ewoks.
They bring them back.
They bring them
and
back.
then they kill them all. Yep, everybody dies.
Everybody
all
dies.
the universes. Yep.
Oh, that's terrible. Can you believe we are halfway through winter?
No.
Yeah, the winter solstice. In other words, the shortest day of the year is Saturday.
Well, that is on Saturday because they're doing that.
Halfway. So there's a
Solstice
celebration
sculpture
at the High Adventure Park. If you haven't been out there, it's really fun. So go from noon to 1, and this is on a Saturday, so everybody can go. So it just happens to be the Saturday before Christmas, which everyone's probably shopping. But don't shop. Go celebrate the winter solstice. There is a sculpture. I'm pretty sure it was a local artist, but actually I'm not positive on that.
But it's a big deal. Like it's a nice
snowflake and
public sculpture.
Yeah, it's really cool. The sun hits a certain point. The shadow reflects on a rock, and it shows like the way the river patterns run through Ogden. And
6 more weeks of winter.
No,
different one. But it does show up as shadow.
Really close. Yeah, really close. Yeah. As long as it's not cloudy. If it's cloudy Saturday, keep shopping. You're not going to see anything.
Yeah. But last year, or the year before, I think it was last year, the clouds parted for that moment. And then
for winter solstice.
Again.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Cloudy sun.
But it's a neat effect. It's a time-specific sculpture. So it shines this shape. Is it
winter
birds
solstice?
Or does it reflect sort of birds on a rock or something?
Know
Whatever it is.
What it is. It's cool looking.
There's donuts and coffee and hot chocolate.
High Adventure Park, right there by Gear 30, right around the corner, on back behind.
Do some shopping.
Washington. Yeah.
Check out the sculpture.
Partly
Christmas
cloudy.
Eve. What's that?
Partly cloudy for Saturday.
Partly cloudy for Saturday. That means it may break. Yeah, right around there. Thanks, JT. Christmas Eve celebration. If you're looking for a way to celebrate Snowbasin, always has a bang-up show on Christmas Eve. Santa Claus is there. Last-minute preparations at Snowbasin. Fireworks, food, skiing. Go hang out. Probably live music. 4 to 7 p.m.
Thanks for bringing that back. Bang up. I don't hear that nearly.
You're
enough.
welcome.
It's a
Yeah,
bang-up
that's
show. Because they do. They put together a bang up show.
a bang-up show. Yeah.
You might have to explain to people what that means.
Like
For the most
there's
part,
no
it's like,
guns actually involved or anything. There's no weapons.
It's a top-notch show.
Top-notch. Yeah. Bang up.
Good show.
Beacon Refresher course at Powder Mountain on the Sundown Lift on the 28th. Also the 2020 International Fly Fishing Festival IF4 premiere at Peery's Egyptian Theater. Bad timing because I think I invited you on a counter invite, Todd, and It's freaking First Friday, so we've got van sessions and all those things going on, but we're not going to make it. Anyway, you should go. There's a note before you go at UTOG Brewing on January 7th. No better place to learn about Avalanche awareness than at a brewery, so go hit that up, 6 p.m.
It's a perfect pairing.
Yeah, it is. Avalanche awareness lecture series at Roosters B Street, again, back-to-back brewery places. That's January 9th. This is a new one, Antelope Island Sunset Moonrise Hike. So cruise out to Antelope Island 5 p.m. on January 10th. Watch the sun go down, watch the full moon rise while you're hiking on the island. Not a long hike, not a hard hike, but a fun hike.
The wind's set?
January 10th.
So it'll be warm.
Super warm.
It'll be real warm.
Yeah, it's usually really hot on January 10th.
I'd say short sleeve shorts.
Yep.
Flip-flops.
Dress appropriately. Nothing but chacos. Bring your chacos. Moonlight Glide at Ogden Nordic is on January 11th. Also, the 4th annual Lady Wild Film Fest. There's an AIARE Rec Level 1 and 2 course. If you're looking for a way to get your Abby, which JT just came back from a Level 2 course.
I observed a Level 2
You
and
observed
a
a
Level
Level 2
1.
and a Level 1.
Yeah.
Wow. So, AIARE Rec Level 1, 2 courses are offered through Weber State Outdoor Program, January 17th through the 19th. Check out Weber's Weber Outdoor Program website for more information. Okay, on the radar, in the radar, back for 2020, El Doce. July 18th is the El Doce 12-hour mountain bike race up at Powder Mountain.
Now, is that a weather specific or was that weathered out last year? Wasn't there crappy weather last year?
Maybe because it's in the mountains, but I think it's rain or shine.
Rain or shine, okay.
I'm pretty sure it's rain or shine. All right, welcome to the program. JT Robinson, guide for multiple. So Whisper Ridge, Weber State University Outdoor Program, was a guide for Bear House Mountain Guiding until they had to shut down. Also runs his own full-service guide operation, Vertical Integration. Ex-professional telemark skier. I don't think I ever... So we had you on the program before, but I don't remember asking how you did the transition. How did you go from pro skier to guide? What were the steps? And was there a book you go like order on Amazon? Like, how do I go from being a skier to a guide?
It was a little less scripted, but yeah. Doing the whole pro ski thing, you have limited time, so you're always kind of looking, where's this going to go?
What's the next move?
Yeah. So
unless you're Glenn Plake, who's 60, 50, whatever,
right,
and still pro, but
yeah, my Monarch is not nearly as glorious.
So guide for all the local places around here, and setting up to be a busy and good week. You were out yesterday. Where'd you go yesterday?
I was out on North Fork area yesterday.
North Fork area with friends?
Yeah.
Doing some river crossings, I noticed.
Yeah. Still early, man.
Yeah.
Even though I guess it's halfway through winter, apparently, it's still early out there.
Well, it's early for the backcountry season.
Yeah.
Halfway through the moon cycle season or whatever. But yeah. So backcountry ski guiding. So you're guiding with 3 different operations. How's that working? How are you keeping it all organized?
Yeah, I mean, so I have Inspired Summit in the Western Uintas out of Park City.
That's
too.
Right. I forgot about
Inspired. So I kind of have the whole northern Wasatch gamut. Inspired Summit has the Cottonwood Canyons as well as the Western Uintas, and then through Weber State we've got the Ogden Forest Service, and then just starting this year with Whisper Ridge, which has a bunch of their own private land. So yeah, pretty much got it covered.
So if someone wants to hire you for a guide, first of all, go to Vertical Integration website, most likely.
Right, yeah. So my VI business is kind of vertical integration is a business term that literally says grab more of your inputs and outputs and take control or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I do a bunch of photo content with that company, and then also the full service part, which is all the extras. So these guide shops I work for personally, and then through VI I do hey, stay in this lodge and eat at these restaurants, I'll pick you up from the airport, kind of stuff like that, which is, I call it more the hosting side of the world. But then I've got the photo content stuff in the telemark world that kind of helps do all that too. So I supply a bunch of social medias for the telemark world and keep them up to date with my photos, and then an agency for a bunch of other photographers too. And I'm their pipeline to the telemark existence, which is pretty niche-y, but that's the idea.
Well, so we just met a guy here in North Ogden who it's a very similar position as far as workload goes, only for the bowling industry. You know,
Yes.
like
That's appropriate. Bowling and telemark have a lot.
yeah, a lot in common. So, but as far as getting the content from multiple distribution outlets and then, you know, providing that information, he actually does live on-site broadcasts of bowling tournaments and stuff. But gaining that content is a completely separate focus from guiding. Like you can't gain content necessarily, or you probably shouldn't be thinking of that first when you're guiding.
No, I don't do I don't do it on the same days. So like, you don't guide every single day, and in days I have in between, I'll go out and shoot. But that's where the agency part comes in handy. I've got all these photographer friends of mine from my old days that when I was a pro, that are still doing it. Telemark skiing images aren't as popular as they used to be to get sold, I guess. So they're like looking for different pipelines to, if they shoot telemark skiers, they kind of usually just come to me because I've got a pipeline for them.
Is it resurging at all?
Yeah, telemark in general has gone up for years and years. So like there was the whole, and that goes back to the history stuff, right?
Yeah.
In the late 90s, early 2000s, alpine touring comes to town, and it's not just clunky junky stuff anymore. It's like dialed stuff. And so if you didn't love the telemark turn and you were a backcountry skier, which is how you used to.
It was the only way
Yeah,
originally.
it used to be the only way you would get in the backcountry is on telemark skis. But then AT comes, and if you don't love the telemark turn, you're like, well, of course, I'm going to do this AT thing. The gear's good, and I don't have to make telemark turns because they're really hard. Cool, let's do that. And so a lot of people switched over to AT, and then we call it like, it was like 06, 07-ish, somewhere in that world. And a lot of telemark numbers dropped off, which at the time they were all growing a lot because backcountry was growing. So telemark was growing through the backcountry, and this whole like double revolution thing was going on. And a lot of these telemark companies got pretty big and then got bought by like alpine ski companies or larger corporations. And then the numbers hit the skids, and they get spun off or shut down, or they just cut budgets for them to the point where they can barely operate. And a lot of those then...
Well, as a pro,
Civiled
that's
up.
a little disturbing.
Oh, yeah, it's classic. A friend of mine, Josh Madsen, and I were both in that pro world at the time, and we joked about how we presided over the downfall of telemark. But really,
Congrats on that. Thank you.
it was really just coincidence, it seems. But yeah, and then it kind of like hit bottom, if you will. Like you're down to just people who love telemark turns, and so then it was like, okay, how many of us are there really out there? It's like SIA has their demographic numbers, and I was working at Telemark Skier magazine at the time with Josh, and so we were trying to figure it out for ourselves. Like even like, is the SIA, because they have like a whole formula and stuff, and there were changes. We're like, are those numbers legit, or where are we at?
Yeah.
So we went out and hunted too, and trying to figure out how many telemark skiers there really are, and it turns out there's still quite a few of them, enough to have viable, profitable market for companies. And so you've seen all these smaller companies now fill the vacuum that was left when those bigger ones got bought, and then they shut down when the numbers came down, and now they're like a few strong smaller companies that are actually doing pretty good.
And I could see it because of it's like an odd cycle, but because of the popularity now of backcountry skiing and how good the tech bindings are and everything, now I'm wondering if it's like, okay, now I want a challenge.
Right. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
There's like a couple different reasons we found that people switch. There's like the classic, like, I want a new challenge. I'm a little bored. Like smaller hills in the Midwest and the East, sometimes we see a lot of that. And then there's like, Dad was a telemark skier.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, I'm kind of like I don't want to say artsy or whatever, like kind of kid who like sees this turn and thinks it's really cool because all the different
it's beautiful
style
on
we
the
do.
mountain.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of that move too.
I mean,
like,
when you're in bounds and you see someone Italian through the moguls, it's like, whoa, you stop. I stop
Right.
to watch. Like,
Yeah.
this is good. This is interesting. Like how it's
Yeah.
a skill.
That's what we like to say too with our friends that are like telemark skiers, is like, if you're a good telemark skier, just go ski. And people, when they see someone do it well, they're like, oh, that looks kind of cool. I want to try that. Because it's all about style and different ways to use the telemark turn and be forward and back and drag hands and like all these different turn positions and stuff. And that's kind of attractive to a kid like that, who's like, maybe he's a little quirky, maybe he's a little artsy or whatever, but he sees all that style and he's like, that looks like something I want.
Can you telemark in the park?
Oh yeah, people do it. I never
Really?
did. I never skied park really at all. But
Yeah.
that was the timing from leaving the Midwest to coming to Snowbasin that didn't have a park for a long time. And I just missed that whole prime age where you would like be a park skier and like be able to take the beating it takes to ski in the park.
It's harder to start when you get. You want to start that when you're like 13.
Yeah.
Like,
but there's a handful of telemark skiers that do it really well, which is pretty cool when you see that, because they do telemark specific things. You know, like they're moonwalking on boxes.
Oh,
and
wow,
like raising
that's cool.
their heels.
Yeah.
And, like, doing grabs certain ways to like pull that ski back, and that kind of makes it their own thing.
So you're providing content for that world now.
Yeah, so that's part of the VI thing is, and when I was a pro, I started VI with a bunch of athletes, and it was like this whole concept of there's telemark ski movie companies and publications at the time, and they need content, and we're athletes, and we need to get our stuff published. So we kind of banded together and bought our own equipment, started doing our own shooting. We had a photographer join our group, and so we started making content even back in those days, and was like,
Which was when?
oh God, that would have been like the late 2010, 11, 12, 13-ish.
Yeah, so
I did it for almost
you're right on
15
the cusp
years.
of like right as social media is starting to take off, and
Yep.
you're
Yeah, and that was the big thing for me now is I'm not the greatest photographer in the world. There's a lot of the guys that are better shooters than I am, but I'm networked and all that stuff, and I know all these people, and telemark is super niche-y. And so when social media came around, so we did it with movies and magazines before, and then social media comes around, it was like, not only do they need pictures, they need lots of pictures, because they gotta post 1, 2, 3 times a day.
Content's a thing,
and content is just huge. So it was like a need for an incredible amount of photos, and it doesn't have to be quite as like magazine print quality.
You're out there and you've got a camera.
Totally.
Yeah.
And so I started
ahead of the
just
game.
doing a lot. I stopped doing a lot less movie stuff and doing a lot more picture stuff to keep that world supplied, because it was just this circulating demand, which if you're, as I'm sure you guys know, you're running a business, you got bills every month.
Yes,
So
we do.
That's helpful for me personally, getting that monthly thing and have that churning. And then the guiding stuff, as I started to grow that starting to take over more now. So I'm like not doing as many photo clients anymore either. It's just the ones that are really good now. I've kind of started to hone it down and dial in the ones that are easy to work with. I have skiers available that are on those brands and stuff, and it
Now, do you guide I don't know how to phrase it, like you're recreational skier, or do you only take like, professional levels?
No, I do
out?
both. Like, so with that whole network with the pro world, I'll try to set up some like pro team trips or things like that with guys that are doing that stuff, and that's good for media because it gets you out there and stuff like that. But I'm a classic ski guide from general public sense, like go out, just take you to cool places for the day, or even like some little like coach up type situations where you're like, hey, this is where I'm at in my skill set, I'd like to get better at XYZ, meet them where they're at, and
so
help
you
them
probably
get better.
Base level have to know how to ski.
Oh yeah.
Before we hire you.
Yeah, the qualifying questions are kind of everything. Like, what gear are you on? Where do you like to ski? What kinds of terrain do you ski often? Where have you gone before? And they start name dropping different stuff, and you start to get a picture about where their level is.
So
at.
not an instructor, a guide.
Yeah, well, I mean, to a certain degree, guiding's always instructing, but it's based just in more experience guiding stuff. So like having an experience for the day. But I do. Now with the Weber State job, that's why I've been running around doing the Avalanche level 1, 2 stuff, is I'm becoming an Avalanche instructor with them and teaching a backcountry course with the university. So that's kind of becoming all part of it too.
So you've hit all the qualifications, right, for you, like a client has. Kind of take us through a day, like a good day.
Yeah. So
from the very beginning to the end of the day.
Yeah.
JT calls you at 4 a.m. You up?
Yeah.
You up?
Right. I like to start early, but it's whatever for whoever wants to have the experience for the day. But yeah, we'll start in the morning, get together. I'll typically have been up much longer than that, but getting ready for the day and looking at all the different options and conditions and stuff. But usually have some sort of a plan going into it. Then we meet up in the morning, start going through gear and stuff like that. And that's all part of the qualifying part too, is that morning ritual, right? Like when they show up, how do they have their gear packaged up, and what do they have with them, and how do they wear it? Do they look comfortable? Like things like that, So.
Or do they just look good?
I just bought these crampons for Everest.
Right.
Let's see if they work.
Yeah, they're pulling stuff out of the box, and they're like, yeah, cool, let's get to it.
Taking pictures the whole time.
Yeah, but that's all part of it. You start to just
Right.
size people up. It's a lot of body
I
language.
know I've heard
stuff,
stories
too.
of people like legit haven't put crampons on, but they're at Everest Base Camp trying to figure out how to put their crampons on. Like, but you as a guide can notice, like, I don't think he's used that beacon before.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's all, we're reading it the whole way in from the first conversation, starting to figure out where people are at and what they're into and what they want to get out of the day. Because not everybody, a lot of people want to say they want to go for the big, huge stuff, but most of the time it's like, let's ski some blue square, black diamond powder in the trees nearby the huge stuff. Because most days you're out there, that stuff isn't exactly where you're going to be. It's like a case in point when you're going for that
And you're not
stuff,
heli
time
dropping
and
in.
day.
If you're backcountry ski touring, half the fun is the climb.
Right. Yeah,
So-
you have to be willing to have that experience if you're going straight human power. I've got snowmobile access through Inspired Summit and human power through Weaver and through Inspired, and then Whisper Ridge is cats and helis, which Whisper Ridge is going to be brand new for me this year, so I don't know what to quite to expect up there yet.
Fun.
Yeah, it looks great. From what I've seen, it looks great. The maps look cool. The guys all seem nice, and the people that work there seem rad so far, but orientation's still coming up, but we'll see how it all rolls out. I feel like I've got a lot of irons in the fire, and I'm kind of like feeling out what's really going to bear the best fruit for me to keep doing it.
So following up, when you meet your client at the trailhead, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
it depends on the deal, right? So if they are like VI full service and I've taken care of all this different stuff, I'll pick them up where they're at. I'll drive them to the trailhead. I'll switch hats from my Weaver State University hat and VI hat between the two. And all right, I'm your guide for the day. And then I partner with those companies as well, so that's the guiding part then, right? I work for Weaver State as a guide, or I work for Inspired or Whisper Ridge as the guide, as well as I have this like side full service thing where it's like book you lodging and all of that. So if it's just someone who's in town and calls me up as a guide, it's just like, okay, meet me here. We'll start from there.
Do
and
you bring food? Or you, like, how does the...
I always have
how
them
full
bring.
service
yeah,
is this?
I always have them bring their own lunch. Most places, I don't know about Whisper's program just yet, but most of the time you're bringing your own lunch kind of thing. And I always have fun stuff to share, like chocolate and candy and hot
Rum,
drinks and
whiskey.
stuff. But
No, that's you. That's you.
Oh, that's just
bring
sweet.
your
That's
own.
just sweet. What's the state of backcountry skiing? And we've got this news article. This guy died in an avalanche in Park City, ducking a rope. What's the state of backcountry skiing right now? Busier out there? Or why should someone hire a guide?
well, that's classic kind of. You get into ethics and stuff with the backcountry community when you start talking about stuff like that, but like it's just become more popular in general, and the really good gears made it more accessible for a lot of people, so there's a lot more people out there now. And it's one of those things is like, as a guide, you take people out to places they want to have a good experience, and maybe sometimes you push a little further out into lesser known areas or whatever, and then there's locals out there and they're like, oh, you're showing these people where to go. And I totally get that. And then there's the other side is like, well, they're going to come. They're coming. They're already coming. Should we show them how to do these things the way that the community, the backcountry world wants them to do it? Like help them figure it out. So they choose good up tracks. They ski good lines. They do it the right way. They know how to use their equipment. Like if you hire a guide, a lot of that stuff can be part of what you're doing. Like you're talking through that stuff while you're doing it too. Like we're going up our route, you got a lot of time to talk when you're skinning up, so you're talking people up, telling them like, this is why we're going this way, because the route looks like this and avalanche potential for that and all that kind of stuff. And so that's all part of it. The current state of the backcountry now is it's busier than it has been in the past, and so getting around is maybe even a little bit riskier because you got so many more people above and below and all around and stuff like that. And now in the current snowpack situation down, you mentioned that guy down in near the canyons. Salt Lake is a much higher mountain range than the Ogden range, and so they've got more, we'll call it basal facets, or like a persistent weak layer. This year it's this October snow that's been sitting at the ground for super long. In basic terms, it got rotten like sugar, and now we put all this new snow on top of it. And they've had like 20-ish, 30-ish centimeters of it, but probably not quite 30, but in varying different areas. A lot of it around, they're up higher, north through northeast up there and it's been a big problem that they've been dealing with all season so far. And then in Ogden, we're like literally 2,000 feet lower in general on our mountain range. So we have some of that in the highest north faces, but it was a lot less, and it seems to be rounding out or bonding better than the Salt Lake scenario. So we haven't had as much of that stuff showing up, if really at all, down here, which has been nice for me because I tend to stay around the Ogden area more often than not. And so it's a little better up here, but we'll see how that keeps playing out. There's a new little grapple layer that's becoming a thing, but that's always the case, right? Like,
welcome to backcountry.
Yeah, we're going through that all winter.
You were friends with Geiger.
I was. Yeah, he's one of my best buddies. When I first came to Utah when I was 18, I got a job. It used to be called Winger's Diner up by the university. Got a job washing dishes, and he was waiting tables there, and I was like brand new from Wisconsin. I had no idea really.
And tell everyone who we're talking about here.
Oh yeah, so
I never knew him. So.
Yeah, okay. So his name's Ben Geiger. He's a local boy. He grew up in the Uinta, South Ogden, went to Bonneville High, and he was one of those classic like knows everybody kind of dudes. And then when I became friends with him when I was 18 at this dishwashing gig. I was telling you, he chimes over the top of the dish pit wall, and he's like, "So you're a skier or what?" I'm like, yeah, that's why I came here. And he's like, "Right on, you're coming out with me and Porter tomorrow, and we're gonna go ski at Snowbasin." Like, oh, all right, cool. So me and a buddy went out with him, and then 20 years later, we basically skied together every day ever since. And the reason you're bringing up Ben is so not this summer, but the summer before last, he had like a freak heart attack while he was laying stone. He was a stonemason, and died on the job. And it was like a rattler for all of us, because like he was super fit dude, super strong. It's kind of one of those stories you hear, like those kind of things just happen. So that kind of shook up our whole world, especially mine. And like last winter was the first winter skiing where he wasn't around, and it was like, whoa. Like it was tough, especially like that first day back at Snowbasin, because that was kind of where him and I came up for like 20 years. I come rolling up for the first time in the season, and it was pretty heavy, but it was cool because like I as soon as I walked up, I started seeing old ski friends and stuff, and big hugs, and everybody's kind of feeling the same way. And so it was well,
that's a fraternity,
huh? Yeah, totally. It's one of those things like you can't go around what you got to go through, and you just get through it. And then so I mean it was a tough year. I did a lot of like, it's not the best thing to do, but a lot of solo backcountry skiing last year to kind of work through it all and figure it all out. But it's all coming back around now this year. I'm getting more, because Ben and I kind of like stuck together, and a lot of over the years friends would come and go, but him and I always did a lot of backcountry skiing together and went after a lot of cool things and had a lot of good stories, and kind of kept to ourselves. As a result, I didn't have like a whole lot of other touring partners around here.
Yeah, you got your guy.
Yeah, it was like me and him, we're good, we're going, all right, see you later.
Right.
See people along the way, we're all friends, it's fun, but we kind of stuck together. And now then last year I was like, okay, I'm doing a lot of solo. I need to, if I want to start doing bigger, cooler stuff again, I gotta find some new partners. So I started reaching out more and trying to get out with some more people, and the community's been really cool. Like I'm starting to like meet all these people that I would see them and all this stuff, but we really wouldn't ski together that much because they were going their way, I was going my way with Benny, and we'd all just kind of like high five, where are you going to be? Or you're over there, cool, keep an eye out for you there, and we're going to be over there, see you at the parking lot kind of thing. But now this year, like getting out and actually skiing with a lot more of these people has been a lot of fun, to like branch out and network a little bit more, and get all the, I'm calling it the relational dynamics, who's friends with who and who's not friends with who.
And that's in every group.
But it's good to figure that out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's been really informative, and and they've all been super cool to me to like bring me into the fold. And a lot of them knew Benny too, because like I said, he was that dude who grew up here who knew everybody. And so me being like the kind of the quiet one that was always with Ben, like they're like, okay, dude, like you can come hang out with us too. And so it's been.
So
rad.
do you ski?
So do you ski?
You go tomorrow.
Like you don't even have a choice.
Oh no, there was no choice. And we showed up, and like it was straight into like, okay, now let's find out if you can ski.
Yeah. The test begins. Yeah. All right, this kid said he could ski. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Wisconsin. Come on. Yeah, let's show you a real mountain.
Exactly.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Very cool. How do we follow you, JT, on social? Where you at?
So on Instagram, I'm j.period or j.t_Robinson. Pretty simple. Facebook, JT Robinson. Same thing. But
thanks for hanging out with us. You going to stick around the rest of the show? We got like 15, 20 minutes. We'll cover some news. And again, if you'd like to know someone, or if you yourself would like to book a guiding trip through JT, Vertical Integration is probably the best place.
Yeah, Vertical Integration, I have jtrobinson.com. And so I kind of go through both of those.
Sweet. I got a snow report for everybody here. Not much in the last 24 hours. Nothing on Alta Beaver, Bryan Head. Nobody's showing anything new. So Powder Mountain's sitting with the 48-inch base. Snowbasin with the 54. And no one has new snow. I think we're getting snow this weekend, though. Maybe tomorrow, actually. Snowbasin there's a letter posted on Monday addressing uphill policies at Snowbasin. So it's from the GM, Davey Ratchford, who we've had on the show a few times. If you haven't read it, it's worth reading, but it does go through that, we're happy to provide this. We're still trying to figure out how it's going to look in the future moving forward. But for now, it's still a thing. Be sure it's from 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. Don't go before and don't go after, please, for the safety of the mountain, yourself, everybody else. They will, weather permitting, on full moon nights, try and allow some evening skinning up the mountain. So, but there's not a daytime route at this time up Snowbasin. 4 a.m. to 9 a.m. That is your time. You can go uphill, and please go to the website, Snowbasin's website, because there's a route. It's they've got a map that they want you to follow, and it's pretty much there's like one workaround there at the bottom rather than go up that steep hill there at the bottom. You can kind of go around on the corner there, but it goes all the way up to Needles. So it's fun. Everyone should go do it, but it's just stay within the rules, please. And then there's an update. I mean, I guess everybody probably knows this story, but yeah, this guy died in an avalanche. Now he's 45 years old, so he's old enough to know better. His snowboarder ducked a rope outside the boundary of Park City Mountain Resort. There was signs of avalanche, like another.
Yeah, I think he went through the 9990 gate.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, which is like a pretty substantial gate. You got to push it open. There's a lot of warnings and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
And there was just one little hill over. There was an avalanche from the Friday, and this was, I think, on a Sunday.
Yep.
But there was tracks. Don't let tracks fool you.
Yeah, that area is really popular spot. It's right outside of the ski area gate, and it's in between this like little zone and on the Park City Ridgeline where it's full on backcountry skiing, but it leads down to a ski resort. So sometimes people get a false sense of security when they push out
no
that
beacon,
gate.
No partner.
Yeah.
No backcountry stuff with them.
Yeah, that's tough.
The only reason he was found is because other backcountry skiers saw the slide and saw a snowboard sticking out and thought that's probably not good, and went and checked it out or called rescue, and they found him.
Yeah, it seemed from the pictures and stuff. I haven't read the actual forecaster's account of it yet, but it seemed like where people were skiing, he kind of tipped over into a steeper terrain underneath a cliff band, which is kind of like a classic start zone. And this area sees a decent amount of avalanche situations just because it is so popular, and a lot of people are going in there. But,
people have died there before.
Yeah, it happens from time to time down there just because it is, it's close to the area. It's easy for someone to go in there, not on accident, but like, I don't know. It's tough because there's a really substantial gate that he had to go through to get to that spot, and it has a lot of warnings and all this stuff. So
Utah Avalanche Center's Chad Bracklesberg said it's challenging for our officials because the weather forecast appeared to accurately convey the danger, like it's high Avi danger, do not go. But he didn't have avalanche stuff with him anyway, so
right.
he sounds like it was almost a suicide mission. Like, I'm just gonna do it. Who cares?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, from what I read, he's a family man. He's got like a wife and kids, I think. But it's just, I guess for someone in the resort that maybe doesn't even know exactly what these signs are saying per se, or it's one of those, we call it human factor stuff, where we can't talk to him now, so we don't really know exactly what he was thinking. But you look over there and there's glorious powder and people are getting after it, and maybe you don't know exactly
I
what
didn't
all
think
this
the
stuff
danger
means.
sign really meant danger, kind of a thing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's tough for me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a super sad situation. So, and with avalanche situations, I'm always like, you weren't there, you don't know exactly what was going on. But I mean, there's obviously signs in his situation. He didn't really know exactly what he was pushing through, and didn't know the danger that existed where he was going per se. Because I'm sure he wouldn't have made that choice if he knew better. But that's a tough thing to start thinking about when a guy, especially being as soft as I am on the situation right now with my buddy Ben.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a tough deal.
Of $1.5 million, there's been a $1.5 million agreement to permanently keep a trail open down in Zion National Park. So this is part of the Trails Canyon, a 16-mile stretch. There's like a mile or something that goes through a family farm. And the farm was like going to shut it down. Like, no, we don't want people coming through our family farm. Well, then they got paid $1.5 million. They're like, hey, okay, you guys can go ahead and use our trail again. So the agreement has been reached through the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Forest Legacy Program and another number of federal and state agencies. So you can now do the full Zion Narrows Trail, which is cool. Everybody's happy. I like stories and everybody's happy. Van life story. We do have a van life story. A van took a nosedive off a Salt Lake City parking structure in between two buildings. Good luck getting this guy out.
I saw a picture. It was wedged between
two buildings.
Yeah.
The tow truck officer is trying to figure out how to just pull it out sideways, upside down and sideways from between.
Not your traditional tow, though.
No, not your traditional van life story. The incident happened about 1 p.m. on Wednesday. 35-year-old man, for some unknown reason, drove through a chain link fence and dropped off the second story of a parking structure into a narrow alleyway.
Totally fine.
Totally fine, but the van's upside down, like nose down.
That's a story
Nose
I can't
down.
wait to hear, and we'll be able to hear about, because he's okay or she's okay. I don't remember who it was that was driving.
There's a new company moving to Utah, and they got this press release and doesn't show. It's from the Utah Governor's Office of Economic Development, and it doesn't say where in Utah they're moving to. Jack Wolfskin, 50 new jobs within 5 years. The outdoor brand apparel company Jack Wolfskin is moving their headquarters to North America, right here in Utah, creating 50 new jobs. So very good for Utah.
That's cool. What do they make?
Outdoor apparel and equipment brand founded in Frankfurt, Germany in
1981.
But yeah. Products include high-end mountain and leisure clothing, footwear, backpacks, sleeping bags, tents that range across multiple outdoor activities. Callaway Golf acquired the brand back in 2018. So tax revenue, $703,000 to the state, over $12 million to the state, and wages coming soon from Jack Wolfskin.
Well, that's cool. That's good news.
Some Yellowstone pups were determined they were hit and killed. Yellowstone wolf pups, by a car. Watch your speed in Yellowstone.
Yeah. Was it just the pups, or was I thought there was an adult too.
2 wolves from the Junction Butte pack were fatally hit around sunset on a road between Tower Junction and Northeast. This happened back in I think the fall or summer or something. They just finally released some information on it. And a necropsy confirmed the black male and female pups died from a vehicle strike. Yellowstone law enforcement officers are investigating the incident still. Yeah, bummer, man.
Yeah, that really sucks. That's super sad.
Like, they've got enough problems to deal with out there, let alone the cars. And then this is interesting. If you're a canyoneer or canyoneering appeals to you, there is a pilot canyoneering permit system happening in Capitol Reef National Park. So, according to the National Park Service, Capitol Reef National Park will begin a pilot mandatory canyoneering permitting system beginning January 1, 2020. Permits will be free. They require self-regulation. They just want to know who's going in, who's coming out, so you can track people. These permits will be required for all canyoneering and climbing activities within the park. Capitol Reef National Park staff have observed a substantial increase in canyoneering and rock climbing activities within the last 10 years. The pilot permit system will allow managers to track use and determine levels and locations of activity. Regulations are listed on the permit and on the park's website. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about heading down to Capitol Reef to do some climbing or canyoneering. It's now by permit. Very important. Also, has the deadliest sport in the world become safer? What is the deadliest sport? Todd, any guesses?
Lawn darts.
Lawn darts.
Easy.
Wow.
Like easy.
Yeah.
Extreme cornhole. Like
Extreme cornhole.
Yeah. It's super dangerous.
Really close. JT, guesses?
Come on, it's a wingsuit or
Wingsuit.
It's
Yeah,
gotta
it's
be
a
wingsuit.
the wingsuit base jumping turns
That was going to
20.
be my third guess.
Lawn darts.
Yeah.
Wingsuit. Some pilots are rethinking the risk. This is up here at nationalgeographic.com. There's a nice article on it. You can read it. It's probably should be on. I mean, it's really long, but yeah, it just goes into the training to save lives. It's becoming safer. It's becoming safer, but that doesn't like. But human error is still human error. So
Yeah,
the
I mean,
equipment is better. The thing,
Yeah. It's just a margin for error.
you're
type
still
thing too,
jumping
right?
off a
You're
cliff.
falling out of the sky. Like,
Yeah.
There's not a lot of margins there.
Okay, so you got some Banyan bucks sitting in your back pocket, maybe some guide money sitting around. You want to buy, invest in something worth investing. Mammut is for sale. Mammut development opportunities anticipated with a potential sale. According to S News, Mammut Swiss 1862. The sports group has been part of the Swiss holding company Conzeta AG since 1982. Recently announced that Conzeta would be pivoting its focus to one specific brand in the portfolio and selling its other brands, including Mammut. I'm not sure what the asking price is, although I'm sure it is large.
Yeah, I would assume.
That's a big brand.
Yeah,
That's a big brand. And a really big woolly mammoth logo, which is really cool, actually. We brought Mammut into Gear 30, and it just did okay. It didn't really do as good as it didn't do as good as the apparel is, because it's really good apparel, but it didn't.
They make good stuff.
It just sold okay. Something worth listening to, and we don't have time to listen to it now. That's why we tell you, go check this podcast out after listening
It's
to us.
on you. It's
This is on you. The Backpacker Out Alive podcast. Injured on an ice ledge. Trapped in quicksand. The Science of Survival. Disaster on Mount Rainier, Part 1 and 2. Alone with a compound fracture. Bit by a rattlesnake. Mauled by a grizzly bear. Nothing but good times on the Backcountry Out Alive podcast. If you want to hear these stories, I think it sounds fantastic. And there's 11 episodes so far. I've got it queued up to play for me. Found it this morning. I am excited to listen to it, so that is something worth listening to.
That sounds like a good Valentine episode, is you and your compound fracture.
You and your compound fracture. All right, worth watching. Film by Mystery Ranch, The Process.
Climbing, where the mind and the body work so closely together. It was this passion that I needed in my life in order to feel balanced in all other aspects of my life.
I like challenging things in life. Climbing is a challenging activity. It definitely takes a different personality. For me, I think it's mostly has to do with sort of seeking the unknown and going out and looking for your own tracks into the mountains.
It's a short film, about 9 minutes long, from production from Mystery Ranch, Fujifilm, still crazy production from Mystery Ranch, Parallel Passions. It's called The Process. Also, their full movie, all 26 minutes of Evolution of Dreams. What happens when the passion of your dreams fades? Do you stop, or do you just search for what's missing and uncover new dreams and goals? Ava and Jackie's journeys have taken them from the regulated ski courses to big mountain skiing, which allowed them more freedom. Throughout the last journey, they've discovered another aspect of skiing and ski mountaineering in this new discipline. And so this film covers that, 26 minutes. Lots of big sponsors, Polar Tech being one of them, ABS being another. Yeah, I think it's all female. Is that right? Yeah, all female ski film. Worth watching.
I always love it when some of these films are like, say, 24 minutes and the trailer's like 19 minutes.
No, the trailer's like, the trailer's 5, and he goes like, okay, watch the full film, and the full film's like 12. Yeah. Okay, cool. That was.
Give you a tease.
Yeah. I don't have the trailer on this one, but the full film is 26:10. Evolution of Dreams. Very cool. Okay. What else we got going on here? Oh, I do have something worth reading. How about starting climbing when you're in your 60s? What's that like? JT's shaking his head. No, I don't know. What is it like to start climbing in your 60s? Outdoor research. On a typical weekday, if you were to show up alone at the climbing gym in Des Moines, Iowa, and start up a couple of auto belay routes, odds are you might get an offer to a belay 74-year-old climber named Kitty Pokrzynski, who lives up the road in Ankeny, Iowa, is quick to include new climbers and offer beta. She's picked up during her 3 to 4 days a week there at the gym. 74 years old.
That's
Climbs
awesome.
3 to 4 days at the gym. Started in her 60s. There's
awesome.
an article at outdoorresearch.com that goes into, hey, man, you can start at any time. We got a gym here in town. Go
Listen,
pick up
it's
a
no
membership.
surprise if you know Kitty. Honestly, if you know Kitty. Yeah.
You
sounds
and Kitty
just
go
like
way
Kitty.
back, huh? Yeah.
He's got an
Oh, that's so
adventurous
funny.
spirit.
Yes.
Adventure spirit. I love it. Yeah, exactly.
All right, for the Gear 30 segments, go to gear30.com, use promo code OOA at checkout, and save 12% on your purchase. There's deals right now. You can save up to 15% on insulated gear. There's all kinds of like shipping deals right now because it's like 3 days. You need 3-day shipping or faster before Christmas. Get it done. Go to gear30.com. So hot right now. Thule launched a new, JT, you need this, luxury cargo carrier. It's called the Vector Roof Box. So what it has, it looks like a normal carrier kind of from the outside, but it's streamlined. It's low profile because it's just for you skiers out there.
It's a sauna, isn't it?
It's kind of a sauna, but
It's just you lay down on it to
you,
warm up.
you carry your kids to
close
the
it
top.
down
Yeah,
on
that's
yourself.
right.
Rooftop sauna. When's that gonna
Rooftop
happen?
sauna. Rooftop hot tub is what I want. Can we make that happen? Where do we get the water for that? It's okay. Why is it luxury? Well, it comes with like a, what's it called?
Is it the velvet lining?
Yes.
Oh man.
No, dead serious. Like, but it's not velvet, but it's like felt, but it's etched out. So your skis have like a place to go. And then they sit in there.
When
nice.
you like your skis more than your kids, that's the one.
Yeah. And then like there's little spots for them, and it's quiet, so they're not rattling around, and it's like a specific places for your skis. The only problem was, I think it said on here that if you ski like the giant skis, like what was it? The almost like the ski jumping type ski, like a huge ski, like those aren't gonna fit, right? It's more for your alpine, or the big super G type skis. Those are not fitting, but your recreational ski.
Yeah.
But if you want to look really fancy next time you go to the mountain with your friends and you pop open your Thule and you've got your skis placed in there nice and neat and in felt, and they're ski koozies. Thule has an answer for you. Yeah.
I have a
Go
Thule
check
box.
it out. I do too. I bought the XXXL for all the family. And I still stuffed it. I'm like crunching it down from the top. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's like if you've got the room, you're gonna fill it.
You're
up.
gonna fill it up. Yeah. All right. This week's quote of the week. I think that's all I had. Todd, did you have anything?
Nope.
Oh wait. Finalists for the second annual Outdoor Retailer Innovation Awards includes brands like Mammut, Nemo, Polartec, Primaloft, Recco, Solomon, Thermarest, Yakima, and some you may not have heard of, like Dahoo, Archer Components, Appalachian Gear Company, Ghosts Apparel Studio. So these are all up for the Innovation Awards, and we will see who wins later on.
Oh, I do have one comment.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening and knows about our Van Sessions podcast and live music series that we do every first Friday during the art stroll, I will be putting a notification to start lining up for spring summer, so March through August. So if you're any musicians that are listening, or you know of musicians that have not been in the van or have not been in the van in a very, very long time, have them reach out to Todd at thebanyancollective.com.
Banyan spelled with 2 A's. Banyan.
Banyan, yeah. And so I'll be putting a notification for that. But we do have a couple of really good musicians for January 6th. Is it January 6th?
3rd.
Third is the first Friday.
Yep.
So we have Mothers of Mayhem, and we have Branson Anderson is back after this sort of national tour that he's been on.
Dude, Branson crushes.
And so I absolutely cannot wait for that night. It should be really good. So just thought I'd put the word out.
Yep. Todd at thebanyancollective.com. Quote of the week. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. What if Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store? What if Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more? Dr. Seuss, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Thank you to Banyan 1 for powering today's 346th episode of the Ogden Outdoor Adventure Show. Look for us on Facebook, Instagram, iTunes. You should probably subscribe to us on Spotify and or iTunes and leave us a review because that always helps for everybody else trying to find us. Also, look for us on Twitter at Ogden Adventure at Banyan Podcast. I think this is it for the end of the year. We good? We good?
Yeah, next week is
next week we're okay.
For sure, yeah.
So this week's, I mean, we had to sift through hours and hours of crappy Christmas music.
Did you find a Christmas song?
And I found a Christmas song we can all enjoy together. Merry Christmas. I don't want to fight anymore. From the